Morning sunlight slants across the cluttered kitchen, catching dust motes in cereal bowls, half filled with soggy flakes. Claire sits quietly at the table while her parents debate bills and mock her big dreams. Her father's voice is casual, his smirk rehearsed. "You'll move out when pigs fly." Her mother laughs, pouring coffee like she's stirring the years of belittlement into a single sound. Claire doesn't reply. Her jaw tightens, eyes tracing the cracks in the wall, the same ones that watched her childhood fade into servitude. The kettle hisses. Silence stretches thin, brittle as glass. Her parents return to scrolling through their phones, unaware that she's already left the conversation. Inside her chest, something final clicks into place. A plan, silent and surgical. When she stands, her chair doesn't scrape. It whispers farewell. She glances once more at their small, laughing world and decides they won't laugh for long. Upstairs, Claire folds clothes she hasn't worn in years. Old hoodies, worn jeans, a concert t-shirt from when she believed in promises. Every motion is methodical, a quiet ritual of separation. She moves through the small, pale blue bedroom, like a ghost cataloging her own afterlife. The laughter downstairs still leaks through the vents, muffled but sharp. She pauses by the mirror, studying her reflection not as someone leaving home, but as someone reclaiming self. The posters on the wall, remnants of a version they never understood, curl at the corners. "You'll see," she whispers to no one, folding the last shirt. Her suitcase clicks shut like punctuation at the end of a long, unwanted chapter. Claire runs her hand along the wall, where faint pencil marks record her childhood height. The memory floods back, her father's teasing voice. "Stop dreaming so big. You'll only hit your head on the ceiling." It was a joke then. Now it feels like prophecy. She laughs once, bitterly, as the camera lingers on her faded handwriting. Age 8. The girl who believed she'd build worlds now sells the one that held her captive. Night. The glow of her laptop reflects in Claire's eyes. Legal websites, property laws, estate transfer forms. Each click steadies her pulse. She learns, absorbs, plans. A notebook beside her fills with careful handwriting, steps, costs, loopholes. The same intelligence they dismissed now constructs their undoing. Outside, a streetlight hums against the silence. Her reflection in the dark screen looks older, hungrier. The mirror stares back at her, unflinching. Claire stands straight, chin lifted, the hum of the refrigerator the only witness. She whispers, "No one takes me seriously. Not yet." Her voice doesn't tremble. Tomorrow, she'll make the first call, the one that sets the gears in motion. She traces the edge of the mirror with her fingertip, leaving a faint streak in the dust, then turns off the light. The city hums with weekday noise, distant horns, snippets of conversation, the rush of people who all seem to belong somewhere. Claire sits across from a real estate agent in a cafe window. Her voice is calm, but her pulse is rapid under her sleeve. She uses a pseudonym she'd practiced in the mirror, Elaine Carter. The agent talks about market trends, square footage, the emotional appeal of suburban charm. Claire nods, pretending interest all while imagining the look on her parents' faces when they see the for sale sign. Her spoon stirs the untouched coffee, leaving concentric rings that fade like old intentions. She signs a preliminary listing agreement. Her initials, different name, same hand. Dry slowly in the morning light. Back home, Claire moves quietly, her steps memorized to avoid the creaky floorboards. Her parents sit in the living room, absorbed in their sitcom reruns. She slips a thin envelope, legal documents, notarized and sealed, into the bottom drawer of her father's desk. Each paper is precision disguised as paperwork. Authorization forms, property valuation requests, sale consents written in language only lawyers love. The printer hums in the background, steady and indifferent. She exhales, closes the drawer softly, and straightens the framed photo of them smiling. A portrait of the people who thought they'd always have the upper hand. Claire sits on her bed with the lights off, laptop open, cursor blinking on a document labeled Moral Boundaries. It's a list of questions she pretends to answer honestly. Do you regret it? Do they deserve this? Would you stop if they begged? The cursor hovers. A tear tracks down her cheek, catching the screen's glow before falling into darkness. She types a single word, no, then deletes it. The silence afterward feels heavier than guilt. It feels like freedom's rehearsal. Her phone buzzes. A message from the agent. First buyer showing interest. They'd like to see the property this week. Claire's breath catches. The room feels too small, the air too thick. She imagines strangers walking through her parents' house, judging the paint, the fixtures, the life lived within. The absurdity almost makes her laugh. Almost. She texts back, proceed. Her reflection in the phone screen doesn't look like her anymore. It looks like someone who knows exactly what she's capable of. Midnight. Rain whispers against the window as Claire stands beside her laptop again, phone to her ear. The agent's voice is calm, efficient. Documents filed, signatures verified, everything aligning perfectly. She thanks him, her voice steady, polite. When the call ends, she looks outside at the rain-slick street, streetlights bending in the puddles like fractured stars. She smiles faintly for the first time in years. Somewhere downstairs, her parents sleep in the house they think is still theirs. The laughter is the same as it's always been. Bright, hollow, self-satisfied. Claire sits at the kitchen table again, this time with her hands folded neatly on her lap. Her parents tell another story about her big ideas, and she smiles, the kind of smile that doesn't touch her eyes. She knows that while they mock, the house deed no longer belongs to them. Their names are ghosts on legal paper. The cruelty that once cut her now feels like background noise, meaningless chatter in a room that isn't theirs anymore. She stands up mid-sentence, their voices blurring into static, and says softly, "I'll be out soon." They don't notice the tone, but the way she looks at the walls, their walls, makes the moment quietly electric. A knock at the door interrupts dinner. Her father grumbles. Her mother sighs. Claire rises before they can, her hand already on the handle. The real estate agent stands there, clipboard in hand, smile perfectly professional. "We're just here for the inspection," he says. Her parents exchange puzzled looks. Claire steps aside, inviting him in. For the first time, the space feels foreign even to them. The walls seem to lean away. The silence thickens. Her father's confusion turns to suspicion, but Claire's calmness never breaks. Paperwork spreads across the dining table like a quiet battlefield. The agent explains the final clauses unaware, or pretending not to notice. The bewildered parents watching. Claire's pen moves with surgical certainty, every signature another silent incision. Her father's face tightens. "What's all this?" he demands. She doesn't look up. The pen glides, the ink dries, and the house ceases to belong to them in that moment. She whispers, "Just paperwork." Night settles over the house, and Claire sits alone at the kitchen counter, the documents sealed and stacked before her. For the first time, doubt slips through the cracks. Small. Insistent. She looks at a photo of her family taped to the fridge. 3 smiles, 1 memory. Her fingers brush over her mother's face in the picture. The ache is real but fleeting. Regret has no room left to grow here. She exhales slowly, steadying herself in the quiet hum of the refrigerator. Dawn. The neighborhood is silent except for the rhythmic chirp of sprinklers. Claire stands on the front lawn as a worker pounds a metal post into the soil. The "For Sale" sign swings slightly in the breeze, its white surface catching the sunrise. She watches it without blinking. From inside, her parents sleep, their world already slipping from their grasp. Claire turns, pocketing her phone, and walks toward her car. Her shadow stretches long across the dewy grass, unmistakably free. The morning erupts with a sound not unlike a wound being reopened. Her father's coffee cup shatters against the counter, brown liquid running like veins across white marble. Outside the window, the E4 sales sign gleams in merciless daylight. Her mother's scream follows, half disbelief, half betrayal. Claire steps into the kitchen, her posture calm, her voice steady. "It's real," she says. "You're not dreaming." The air fractures. Her father stares at her as if seeing a stranger in his daughter's body. The silence between them grows teeth. Her mother's voice trembles into fury. "How could you? This is our home." The word "our" snaps like glass in the air. Claire doesn't flinch. Was it ever? The question hovers, heavier than accusation. The father moves closer, pointing at her. But the authority that once weighed him down now feels weightless, irrelevant. Claire's expression doesn't change. She's already crossed the point of no return. For the first time, they see it in her eyes. She means it. She walks past them without hesitation, grabs the envelope from the counter. The deed, her proof, her liberation in manila paper. Her father's voice cracks behind her, shouting her name like it still carries weight. It doesn't. She turns once at the doorway, gaze cutting clean through the decades of their control. "I told you I'd move out," she says softly. "I just didn't tell you how." Then she steps into the light. The front door slams behind her, the sound echoing like the final page of a long, ugly story. Her parents' voices muffle into incoherence through the wood. She stands on the porch, breathing in the morning air as though it's the first time she's ever done it freely. Her phone buzzes. Message from the agent confirming the sale listing is live. She looks up at the sky, blue and endless, and for a heartbeat she almost smiles. She walks to the edge of the driveway, keys in hand, the sound of her footsteps measured and slow. Behind her, the house looms quiet, stripped of its illusion of permanence. Claire pauses only once, to drop the keys in the dirt, metal glinting in the sunlight like discarded chains. She doesn't look back. The engine starts, low and steady, as the camera lingers on the empty doorway behind her. The laughter that once ruled this place will never touch her again. By afternoon, the neighborhood hums with whispers. Word travels faster than the mailman. Curtains flutter as neighbors pretend not to stare. Claire drives past slowly, window down, the summer air thick with judgment and disbelief. Her parents' home, her house now, stands proudly with its "for sale" sign, defiant and gleaming. She can almost hear the gossip. Ungrateful daughter. Poor folks, how could she? But she feels nothing. Just the quiet rhythm of her breath, sensing with the turn signals tick. An odd calm in the eye of the storm she built herself. Inside the house, chaos brews. Her father's voice rises to a roar, her mother crying quietly on the couch. They shuffle papers, make phone calls, shout names into answering machines that don't answer back. But they should me yell. Who should be Laura? The always India rain are tight. The storm of their own making crashes back upon them, and for the first time they realize how powerless they've become. Claire's new apartment smells like fresh paint and freedom. It's small, imperfect, but every corner belongs to her. A single suitcase sits against the wall. She unzips it, placing one folded shirt after another into the drawers. No shouting, no laughter, no one to tell her what's too much or not enough. The silence feels like oxygen. She opens the window, letting in the hum of the city and the sound of her own becoming. Later, she sits on the floor beneath the glow of a single lamp, flipping through old photographs. Her mother's laugh, her father's hand on her shoulder, all frozen moments of a love that was more conditional than kind. She sets each photo aside one by one, until only the edges of paper remain visible. Her fingers hover over the lighter. For a heartbeat, she hesitates, not from doubt, but from ritual respect. Then flame meets memory, and the room fills with the quiet crackle of closure. Smoke curls upward, ghost-like, dissipating into the dim air. Claire exhales and watches it vanish. There's no bitterness left, only release. She sets the metal lighter aside, leans back against the wall, and closes her eyes. Outside, faint traffic hums and sirens echo far away. The past burns quietly in her wastebasket, a small glow reflected in her eyes. She smiles for the first time, not in victory, but in peace. It's been weeks since Claire heard their voices, yet she knows the rhythm of their anger by heart. The knock comes at dusk. 3 sharp raps that slice through the calm of her new life. She opens the door slowly. Her parents stand there, older somehow, faces carved by disbelief and fury. The silence between them carries everything unsaid. Her mother starts to speak, but Claire raises a hand, gentle, final. "You came all this way," she says quietly, "to see what freedom looks like?" Her father's words spill out, accusations, demands, desperation. "You ruined us," he shouts, veins visible in his neck. Her mother's sob breaks the rhythm. Claire listens, expression calm, the still center of their storm. When they're done, she answers evenly. "You taught me everything I needed to do this. You taught me what it feels like to be small, and I swore I'd never be again." Her voice isn't cruel. It's precise, surgical, the tone of someone who's found truth and refuses to let it go. Her mother's voice softens, pleading now. "We did what we thought was best for you." The words fall like ash. Claire's mind flashes back. Her younger self, crying in her room after another of their jokes, disguised as lessons. The laughter echoing through the vents. The dismissive smirk. The years spent shrinking herself to fit inside their comfort. The montage of memory flickers like an old film reel behind her eyes. "You thought wrong," she says, voice barely above a whisper. Her father slams his fist on the table. The sound rings through the apartment, hollow and powerless. Claire doesn't move. "You'll regret this," he warns, but the words lack the weight they once held. She tilts her head slightly, studying him, not with hate, but recognition. "You said that when I was 10, she replies. "I waited 17 years for it to come true." His eyes falter. The power dynamic flips silently, cleanly, like a page, turning at the end of a long, bitter story. They leave in silence, the hallway swallowing their retreat. Claire watches from the window as they walk down the street. 2 small figures under the flickering streetlights. She doesn't feel triumph. She feels clean. The city hums below, uncaring, alive. For the first time, she understands that revenge isn't destruction. It's reclamation. She closes the window gently, turns off the light, and lets the dark hold her without fear. Morning light drips gold across the horizon as Claire steps out of her car. A small, modest house stands before her. Fresh paint, a garden waiting to grow. The air is different here, lighter, unclaimed. She unlocks the door with trembling hands, her breath catching as it opens to silence, to possibility. Every creak, every empty room feels like a promise. She sets down the box in her arms and whispers to the walls. "Mine." The word settles, unchallenged, echoing back with quiet certainty. Later that week, she sits on the porch sipping coffee when a man from next door waves hello. His name is Eli, and his voice carries the quiet steadiness of someone who's learned to build rather than break. They talk about paint colors, neighborhood markets, and the best way to keep a garden alive. There's no spark of romance, just respect, the rare kind that asks for nothing. As he leaves, she catches her reflection in the window, and barely recognizes the peace in her own eyes. A letter slides under her door one afternoon, the handwriting instantly familiar. Her mother's. She stares at it for a long time, the envelope trembling slightly in her hand. She doesn't open it. Instead, she walks to the fireplace and lays it atop the smoldering logs. The paper curls, darkens, and lifts as ash into the air. She watches until it disappears completely. Some things are lighter when burned. Evening falls as she drives down the same winding road she once fled. The trees arch overhead, their leaves whispering in the wind. Her car radio hums softly. No words, just melody. Every turn brings back flashes of what used to hurt. Now muted, distant. The weight that once anchored her chest has vanished, replaced by something simpler. Space to breathe. She rolls the window down and lets the wind move through her hair like forgiveness. The sun sets behind her as the road opens into a horizon of gold and gray. Claire doesn't look back, not because she's running, but because she finally doesn't need to. The house, the pain, the laughter, the silence. It's all behind her, fading like scenery through the rearview mirror. Ahead lies only forward, unmarked and waiting. Her hands tighten on the wheel, and she exhales one last time. The camera rises, the car shrinking against the vast open world. The last sound is her heartbeat syncing with the engine.